1919. That is the year we got our first female president.
As you know, we've inherited quite a budget crunch.
And you don't know about that because, well, the history books, they never wrote about it.
Yeah, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it.
I don't believe you.
Trust me when I say you're gonna want to hear this. As usual, today I'm gonna be serving facts on facts with a side of entertainment. Well, like I said, it's true, y'all. We have had our first female president already, and it was back in 1919. Her name was never put in the history books, though.
I got nothing on a name. Come on, baby, what's the name? We threw out the name!
Not too surprising since, most great female achievements throughout history were kept out of the history books or just given credit to their male counterparts. Now, this woman, she stood as the acting president during one of America's most difficult times.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa!
That's too damn bad!
The post-World War I economy, which she was able to turn into one of the most successful economic periods in American history. That is nuts. But wait, I'm a hardcore Republican, and I thought the women couldn't be president because they're just way too hormonal and they just sleep their way to the top. Like all those allegations against Kamala Harris. Well, Mr. Republican, I have two things to say about that. One, just keep your ears open. These are inarguable facts. Two,
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
now you might be familiar with that certain time period that I'm talking about.
I'm listening.
When the economy was booming because of everything that this woman did while she was acting president.
There's so much!
Well, that time period was called the Roaring Twenties. You've heard of that, right? Flappers, swing dancing, the Model T. Sorry, that's a little small. There you go. The Model T. And not to be forgotten because, we're all enjoying it right now. The invention of the television. That economically booming period of time. Now, don't feel bad for not knowing, because most people don't actually know about this.
We know everything!
The only way to know about this is to research it yourself.
No, I don't think I will.
Let's be honest, how many of you have actually researched this deeply into if America has ever had a female president? Probably not very many, because we probably would have learned about it in school, right?
Gentlemen, open your text, page 21 of the introduction. Now I want you to rip out that page. Gentlemen, tell you what, don't just tear out that page, tear out the entire introduction. I want it gone. History. Leave nothing of it.
Well, it's actually a pretty big deal, because Edith, yes, her name is Edith Wilson, President Woodrow Wilson's second wife. She presided over cabinet, managed foreign relations, had presidential top secret clearance, up there. And the list just goes on and on. Like the list of things that you have to do as president, that was her list. But on top of that, she also had to play nurse because her husband, the president at the time, was paralyzed, and she had to take care of him because the public just couldn't know about a paralyzed president. That would send everybody into a panic. Now, do I have your attention yet? Come on, let's really dive in. October 2nd, 1919. President Woodrow Wilson has suffered a stroke, leaving him totally paralyzed. In a post-war economy of all times. And you might be thinking, well, the vice president would just step up because that's how it works. Something happens to the president, the vice president steps up. But let's keep this in mind. It's 1919, y'all. The 25th Amendment has not been ratified. It won't be ratified until 1967. And this is largely the reason why. Without the 25th Amendment having been ratified yet, the US has no official policy regarding the transfer of presidential power. So essentially, if something happens to the president, it's not a matter of the line of succession. It's a matter of who has the cojones to step up and take over this really, really demanding role. So that leads us to the question, who is going to stand up and take over the role as president? Especially during a post-war economy when everything is decimated. Well, her name was Edith Wilson.
Fine.
myself.
And she took on all of this responsibility, knowing that she would not get the title or the recognition through history that she deserved. She would do all of this from behind the curtain while taking care of her quadriplegic husband. Now, Edith's role in maintaining stability during this critical period, and her support for policies that promoted economic growth and social welfare, had an intense impact on the US economy in a positive way. Edith Wilson's leadership during this time was marked by several different achievements. We're going to go through some of these together. Check it out. Edith presided over cabinet meetings, making extremely important decisions over foreign and domestic policy issues. She represented the United States at official functions, which helped to maintain a strong public image, and it boosted national morale. It invigorated people. Now, as any president does, she would often consult with trusted advisors, but ultimately the final decision rested in her hands. She would often correspond with other world leaders, navigating the extreme complexities of post-war international relations. And if you follow politics at all, you know from current times to today, that is not an easy task. And of course, first female president, knowing that women were entirely left out of the Constitution, had to do something to advance equal rights. Edith worked very closely with Congress to advance key legislation, including the ratification of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. Get it, girl? Edith maintained her husband's economic policies after his injury, which included measures to demobilize the military, transition from wartime to peacetime production, and address issues like inflation and unemployment. And I think we're all pretty familiar with inflation and unemployment, especially right now, when I can't even buy a loaf of bread at Walmart without promising them my firstborn.
So, there's an ice cream van there selling just 2 ice creams with 2 chewing gums in it for bloody £9.
Edith was a huge supporter of the League of Nations. I mean, after all, Woodrow Wilson, her husband, did architect this idea. Edith cared so much about the League of Nations that she made sure she carried it all the way through to fruition on January 10th of 1920. On the 15th of November, 1920, 41 nations gathered in Geneva, Switzerland for the first assembly of the League of Nations. And you might be thinking, 41 nations, that's not that crazy. It was 1919, y'all. That was 70% of the world's population. 70% of the entire world's population. That is nuts. Now, this assembly promoted international cooperation and economic stability. This was huge. This influenced economic policies involving global trade and investments. And if you don't understand entirely what that means, that's fine. Let me just tell you this. That is an enormous accomplishment. That is huge. Edith would go on to support progressive era reforms, including labor laws, workplace safety reforms, child labor laws, and the list just keeps going on. These policies that she were pushed through specifically to improve Americans' quality of life. While the world was undergoing significant political and economic changes, Edith Wilson stood as a steady hand to lead the nation through during this period of extreme transition. Her actions during this time were an enormous testament to her intelligence, her courage, and her unwavering commitment to the people of America. Edith's impact to the U.S. economy during her time as acting president was enormous. She played a key role in supporting the nation's recovery from the Great War, also known as World War I. Edith's leadership during a time of global uncertainty solidified America's position as a world power. That is not a small time win, everyone. That's big. Now, Edith Wilson's legacy is complex and often misunderstood. While she faced a lot of criticism for her role in shielding her husband's illness from the public, her actions were motivated by a desire to protect her husband and to ensure the stability of the entire nation. That feels pretty selfless to me. Interesting fact, in this photo, Woodrow Wilson is already suffering from quadriplegia. Edith had the great idea to do a photo shoot showing him still working and in office so that it could quell the worries of the American people. Her story is a perfect reminder that history is most often shaped by the unsung heroes that do everything behind the scenes and are forgotten about when it's time to hash out the rewards.
You're waiting for somebody to tell you that you belong. I'm telling you, you belong.
Edith Wilson's contributions to American history are undeniable. She was a true pioneer, a woman way ahead of her time, who demonstrated that leadership knows no gender. It is so important to remember that the media is biased. Don't just bandwagon and believe everything that you hear on Fox or NBC or any other politically biased news stations. Look at both sides. Draw your own conclusions using your own thoughts. Your sons, daughters, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, etc., all deserve the same opportunities and rights as one another. And I would challenge anyone to argue otherwise. Just keep it civil. There might be kids reading this too. But I will check the comments, so go ahead and let me know. Most of the information that we're fed is designed to direct us and the way that we think. The more minds that are changed by the news that they're feeding you means more viewers for them in the future, which means more money in their pockets as well. News, politics, and even the religions that we follow have all massively misdirected us throughout history. But those are all facts to be shared in another video. Like this one, right here. You would be amazed at the things that you would learn and how they affect your daily life in this video right here. Until the next time, stay curious.